I will debaters to introduce themselves. I'm going to give them 3 minutes and they're going to have opening remarks along with that.
My names are Obonyi Eric Mohabi. I am a second-year law student, formerly described as a jack of all trades. And right now, I describe myself as a very versatile individual, versatile leader, versatile team player, and I pride myself in that. My experience being here as a leader includes being the head of programs, projects, and policies in the Federation of African Law Students, Botswana, that's FALAS. Currently the head of house at Block 476, formerly the head of house at Block 479, formerly a decorated debater and orator, doing moot courts and winning various titles across the country and in Africa. I am also a volunteer debate coach, volunteering in various primary schools across the country and helping young students, that is primary school students, develop their oratory skills. I'm also the founder of Quasar News of Science and Enlightenment Hub, very important platforms, and I'm also engaged in various sporting activities. I'm currently the goalkeeper for the Botswana men's team, hockey national team. And lastly, I would like to say that I'm a man of high principle, and I'm very much interested in the interests of the people I serve. I'm very much interested in making sure that nobody exploits and nobody steals from the people they pretend to serve, and that is what I stand for. Thank you very much, Baituti, and I hope this will be an interesting one.
Thank you, moderator. Protocol is highly observed. Speaking to you on this wonderful evening is Netiri Figalekam from UBCG Student Movement, and Oracle, by the way. I'll be contesting for this portfolio of SRC Secretary General that is commonly known for minutes taking, well in actual fact it's the engine of the party. What's a car without an engine? So what is an SRC without an SRC Secretary General? One may wonder, is this my first time in leadership? It's not my first time in leadership. Dating back to primary level, I was the prefect and the monitor. I was the SRC Secretary General in junior level. And right now I'm back again, campaigning for a position of SRC Secretary General. And one may ask one question. What is the significance of what you've just mentioned? The discipline that was installed in us as a prefect or as a monitor, or my time as an SRC Secretary General during my high school, instilled a discipline in me that I believe I need to carry to the office of SRC Secretary General. I'm a selfless person, by the way. And I'm an organized person. I'm a team player. Not only that, but I'm also very patient. I advocate for transparency. I do not only see myself like I do not only see myself as someone who is unorganized, because I'm the Secretary General of the Executive Committee of the UPCD. It's an organized movement. You can see it for yourself. It's a very, very organized movement. Not only is my life based in politics, but I'm also a youth coordinator at church. Not only that, I lead various groups at church. Not only that, but I'm also the founder of Kutlwano Transport and Logistics Company. Thank you, moderator.
It's a vehicle without an engine cannot move. Therefore, the position of Secretary General is the engine of the council, the engine of the SRC. It makes the whole council function, it makes the whole council move forward. And I am the incoming Secretary General. Previously, ladies and gentlemen, I was the SRC Minister of Student Affairs here in the University of Botswana. But my track record of leadership does not only begin here in the University of Botswana. I have various leadership positions dating back into my primary school days, my junior school days, as well as my senior school days. So I believe that a leader is an individual that can impact students in the work that they do. A leader is an individual that can look back with students coming back to say, what have you done? What impact have you done? Like I said, I hold various positions nationally, regionally, and globally as well. I was an office administrator for Edistore Africa, which is a global distribution company that does with educational products and books. I served as a camp coordinator for the Teen Spirit youth camps, whereby we're dealing with psychosocial support for teenagers across the country. We hosted camps in Botswana, Charles Hill, and the like, so we went to the outer parts of the country in general. I was also a project coordinator for Destination Imagination Botswana, where we partnered over 2,000 youth in Botswana on STEM education training. And so most of them are here in the university today pursuing science courses, which is to show that the impact that we and my work had in their lives, or now there are people in STEM, that are girls in STEM, and that are gents in STEM. Additionally, I'm a tournament convener for the 2024 Union Southern African Universities Debate Championship, which saw us bring over 2,000 university students in the University of Botswana. Not only did this put Tiamo very much on the map, but it also put the University of Botswana on the map. It also empowered other student clubs in the university, the likes of the UBD Pala Group, the UB Band, as well as some of the entrepreneurs that were engaged during this prestigious event. So, speaking of auditory skill, I think my competitor here can also attest to the fact that I was also the outgoing head of external affairs at the University of Botswana Debate Masters Association, currently pursuing a different endeavor, trying to develop the young talent in auditory skills, public speaking, and soft skills. Currently, I'm the founder and chairperson of Durban Auditory Academy, which is an academy that we aim to nurture the next generation of talent and actually develop in the power of intellectual dialogue within each and every Botswana here. This track record of leadership speaks to my capabilities as a leader and what I can do should I then be given this position of Secretary General. Because I believe in empowerment. I believe that a leader should be a person who should take you from point A to point B. I believe that as the incoming Secretary General, I'm the one who should develop the livelihood of the university students in Matikuru, Gyalibor.
Okay, this is our first question. As incoming Secretary General, how would you enable students to access all meeting minutes and any documents that students are at liberty to access? I think we've all had or experienced issues in the past where certain documentations were not availed and reasons as to why weren't given, even though the Constitution states that this should be done. It's mandatory. They were supposed to do opening remarks. But okay, kindly please give your individual manifestos. I'll give you 2 minutes. 3 minutes. It's too short. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes each. I had hoped that during the opening remarks you would, but okay.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Like I said, our student movement being one of the only movements in the university to actually share manifesto pointers. The manifesto pointers of the Student Patriotic Front, ladies and gentlemen, is based on 3 main pillars of youth student entrepreneurship, good governance, and academic excellence. Before moving on to my manifesto pointers, I'd like to make it very clear to the students in the University of Botswana to understand that the SRC Secretary General deals mostly with student clubs, student life, and administration of the SRC in general. The first manifesto pointer would be enhanced student club development. Then Sabobedi would be improved sustainability of student clubs. The third one being introduction of club industry collaborations. The fourth one being improved administrative efficiency. The fifth one being capacity building and networking. Then the last one being the promotion of innovation and creativity. Going back to the first point of enhancing student development in the University of Botswana. It's high time we have comprehensive training programs. Because we as a movement who as individual believe that the University of Botswana students are capable. We need to empower students and capacitate them enough to a point whereby they can nurture their talents and actually gain a living out of that. Hence why we believe that we should be having comprehensive training programs so that students are going to be trained in their set skills. These training schedules or programs should then come with certification that is what we call BQ accredited, meaning that they can take that certification and do something with it. The second issue that becomes resource allocation. As it stands, the university only assists clubs with transport funding. We as a movement, or my ministry, wishes to change that. We should ensure that student clubs and student leaders and students in general in the University of Botswana are given access to a number of resources. Because transport alone does not favor most of the impact that student clubs are doing in the university. A typical example would be, some students do not need to travel for them to actually have an impact, but rather they have programs which are happening within the university. Are we then now saying that because Club X does not need the transport funding, they don't deserve the right to be given that transport? I'm glad to say that has already began with the conversation we've already been having with the Department of the Student Development Unit, where now conferences and seminars are being considered to be assisted in that regard. The next issue would be mentorship initiatives. As a way of improving and capacitating and training our students in the University of Botswana, we need to have student mentors. We need to have alumni from the University of Botswana coming back to the university and actually mentoring people in their different rights. We have very good products of the University of Botswana, but they have abandoned the university because there is no concrete mentorship program in place to ensure that those people, those alumni, can come back to the university and mentor and nurture upcoming talent. Moving on to the issue of improving sustainability of student clubs. I'm very much glad to say that, it's something that the university has already started, that clubs need to become more sustainable in ensuring that the University of Botswana actually benefit and the students benefit from the clubs. I would envision a situation whereby, because of your work at the University of Botswana Political Science Society, you get employed by maybe SADC, you get employed by one of the different stakeholders that actually deal with political education around the country and the field in general. That is the sustainability that we want. We want a situation whereby clubs within the university can partner with even external organizations, even internal organizations, whereby there's sustainability of the club. We had a lot of brilliant clubs happening within the University of Botswana, but they end up dying. We believe that it should be mandatory for each and every club in the university to have a sustainability plan, so that at least we can see the vision to the next 3 to 5 years, so that we know where the club is moving beyond the individuals who are actually running the club. The other issue that we are trying to improve in terms of sustainability of clubs is what we call financial management. It's high time fund clubs become self-financing. A typical example would be we have very good clubs such as UBT Pala Group. The UBT Pala Group is a group of very talented individuals within the University of Botswana. And they do very well. So we need to have systems in place to say, but if you be Borankana or UBT Pala Group, you are performing with GICC. Where is the money going, and how are we then going to manage the financials of that particular club so that there is sustainability beyond the people who are actually there in that club? Introduction of club industry partnerships. I think I've already touched on it in the issue of mentorship. We need to then look at the fact that clubs within the university, you have your science-based club, you're doing science-related things, you have your maths-based clubs, you have your entertainment-based clubs. So those clubs need to come together, and we need to create a place whereby they can have collaborative projects with external stakeholders. A typical example would be during the 2024 Southern African University Beach Championship, we had a lot of partnerships from outside. The likes of your Naledi Motors were on board, the likes of your Petros Botswana, the likes of your Pepsi, and as well as Mountain Dew. These are some of the evident and real-life examples that it's practical, it's able, it's attainable, whereby industry heads from outside can come here and actually partner with us. Most of the people who are supporting us were people actually alumni of the University of Botswana. So I'm not just seeing things which are coming from the top of my head. These are things that we have tried. These are things that we have actually improved on. Then moving on to capacity building and networking, we need to capacitate our clubs and students in the University of Botswana. Thank you.
Comrade, let me correct you. I said, what's a car without an engine, and what's an SRC without a Secretary General? And I'm here and I'm wondering, what's a light charge particle compared to a heavy charge particle? Mind you, an engine, it needs to make sure that the party runs, that the student movement runs smoothly and effectively. And I would also like to acknowledge that. Now moving on to my pointer manifestos. As the UBCD student movement, our first pointer manifesto is transparency and accountability.
Hold on. April. April. You don't get to come in here and cause havoc. Please continue.
Okay, thank you, moderator. As I was saying, the first pointer manifesto is transparency.
Order. April, you don't come in here. You don't get to come in here and cause havoc. Please continue.
Okay, thank you. Okay, as I was pointing out my manifestos, the first pointer is transparency and accountability in the SRC together with the student body. Collaboration with the school clubs that are in school, meeting coordination, document and record keeping, management, minutes taking, and communication, establishment of open communication channels. Let me take the first one, transparency and accountability. How am I going to ensure that there's a transparent and an accountable SRC? First things first, clear decision making, open communication channels, cultivating a sense of responsibility. How are we going to cultivate a sense of responsibility in the SRC? First things first, this will be done through workshops, training programs, where SRC council members are taught about, or they are reminded about the importance of ethical code. They are also taught about the regulations, or rather they are reminded about their duty, what is expected of them. That is cultivating a culture in them. Mind you, sow a seed in them and they shall reap. There's this saying that says, if you sow a seed and it grows, you cannot uproot it by its leaves. Rather, you can uproot it by its roots. Similarly, I'll be sowing a seed in the council cabinet. I'll be sowing a seed in the council members. A seed of a sense of responsibility. Open communication channels. How am I going to do this one? I'm a team player, for goodness sake. I'll be doing this one together with the Ministry of Information and Publicity. And I don't report back to the students. I don't give feedback back to the students. We need to be able to give back to the students what we have discussed, and that too, recording of detailed meetings. Through the record detailed minutes. Through the SRC meetings. Clear decision making. If you take decisions very clearly, you'll be transparent with those decisions. If your decision is clear, and you are not afraid of the decision that you took, then you need to be transparent with the student. Also, moving on to the next pointer, manifesto, establishment of open communication channels, which will be done through the Office of Ministry of Information and Publicity, which I've already touched about. Through whether we'll be doing those things through online or physical platforms. Documentation management and record keeping all the copies of the records, as well as creating backup systems for them. Recording attendance of all the council cabinet members and their apologies. But it's important to attend an SRC meeting. What's it? How do you manage SRC? How am I going to be able to manage the student labs out there if I can't manage my own team? So I need to be able to manage my own team. And this will be done through meetings, through training them, and through empowering them what a leader should be like. Which I already know because I'm the Secretary General of the Executive Committee. And I know my team very well. They're my babies. I know what they're capable of. Moving on to the other point, meeting coordination. Scheduling and handling all day-to-day operations and administrative talks, ensuring all the cabinet members are made well aware of the meeting well in time and location. Collaboration with social clubs in school. Another club that I have is a maths club that was mentioned, a maths club, a radiation and health physics club. And this club needs to work. A club is not only about what is the radiation and health physics course, what is this and this and this and this and this. A club should also be able to empower them. It should also be able to advocate for them. Improved mental health support schemes or improved mental health programs, which will be done through various seminars and workshops. Advocating for the students. Maloba, our president, held a seminar about gender-based violence, which was advocating both for the boy child and the girl child. So, through that club, we'll be able to advocate
by duty. Now it's time to listen to an actual manifesto. Let me just begin by explaining that the duty of the Secretary General is like a miniskirt. Eh? It's very short, but it's enough to cover the essentials and make the cabinet move. So let me just get straight to it. According to the SRC Constitution, the Secretary General is responsible for two main things, excluding the meetings that my counterpart here just mentioned, being the public relations officer, as well as being the administrative officer. Of course, being an administrative officer means that you prevent the anarchy that we see in the previous SRCs, where things are so disorganized that we don't even know what's happening and where things are going. So let me get straight to it. As the public relations officer, I feel like good public relations is essential to solving almost all of the problems that my counterparts here have been mentioning. When you talk about clubs and club funding, where issues are there, where you find that clubs have legs and monies, clubs experience issues in funding, and clubs only get funding and transport. Public relations will solve that for all of us. And how do you do that? Ladies and gentlemen, the world today works through public relations. We know the biggest companies are big because of public relations. The biggest people, the biggest personalities are big because of public relations. So if we induce good public relations, and that is by having an official channel, or official channels rather, and that would go on to places like social media, places like newspapers, where we express and show what UB has. Ladies and gentlemen, Banaba Manikolo, we are known for being drunkards in the school. We are known for being prostitutes. We are known for being alcohol and drug abusers. But the good PR that's supposed to be done by the public relations officer is not being done. It's supposed to be done by the Secretary General, the public relations officer. And that's a huge failure that has been going on. We need to work on that. Still on public relations, we need advocacy on national issues. Most of us in the university, we are adults, and these national issues affect us. We need people who are brave enough to stand up and say no. When public issues, issues of national interest, things are going wrong, we need people who will stand up and actually solve these issues and actually have an opinion and actually have some input, because we need input from us, the people who are educated, the people who are the future, they say. They call us the future, but then where's the advocacy in these national issues that are going to affect us in future? Now, not to waste time, because I do not have much of it, I'll go on straight to speaking to being the good administrative officer that I intend to be. Being an administrative officer, like I said, to prevent anarchy, where we find that there's disorder and people who don't know what they're doing, the minister of bar and canteen is busy fighting in refectory, it's so disorganized. We need order. And how do you do that? You need simpler application of the classical approach, a principle of coordination and functionality. Everybody needs to know what they're supposed to do, and everybody needs to abide to what the Constitution says they should do. Other things would be side quests. Yes, we appreciate side quests and in what you're supposed to do, doing more than you're supposed to do. That's good, that's great. But going straight to the side quests and neglecting your actual duties is complete disorder that we will not allow. Due to this disorder that we've been seeing so many problems. We find that there's so many problems in sectors such as the health in the school. You leave your room or and we need to solve these issues. We do not have advocacy for such things because gentlemen like the outgoing Minister of Student Affairs have failed in such. They've failed in advocating and standing up for the issues that actually affect the students. And we need people who stand up for that. And you're looking at them. That's me. I'll make sure that there's coordination and there's a functionality to ensure that such issues are addressed by relevant ministries and there's nobody who neglects their duties like we've been seeing. Other things that are usually neglected are issues such as gender-based violence and abuse. So prevalent in the university, but nobody wants to talk about it, possibly because some of them are culprits of this act of gender-based violence. We are protecting ourselves, and these individuals who protect themselves instead of advocating against issues of gender-based violence should be called to order, and this needs to stop. We need to stop the abuse that we are seeing. We need to stop, because this is what's leading to the killings that we are seeing across the country. And as an administrative officer, I intend to curb that. Thank you. Because of time, I'll stop here.
Thank you for that. Now I'll be giving you the first question, and it reads, how would you enable students to access all meeting minutes and any documents that students are at liberty to access? We've had issues in the past where certain documentations were not availed and reasons as to why we're not given, even though the Constitution states, it clearly states that these should be accessed by students. And then the second question is, I'm going to give you two questions and then you'll answer. Is that okay? Thank you. Student club funding is an issue that all student clubs are facing, and student clubs have to take the heavy weight of resource mobilization. How would you make it easier for student clubs to access funds? Please give logical examples.
Yes, thank you for the questions. The first question pertaining to the release of minutes as well as doing other official duties that are prescribed by the Student Representative Council Constitution. It's very simple. Right now, all of the students in the university, or almost all of them, know that we have elections. How did they get that information? It was distributed through channels. The issue is not the distribution, but the issue is the people who are supposed to do the distribution. In absentia, the current administrative secretary has failed to publish the minutes because they simply did not want to, or because they were protecting some interest of their own. I do not know why they did not do that, but they should be called to order for that. The second question of student club funding. And also I like that you mentioned that it should be logical. Like I said, although I was saying in short, public relations is a good thing. It's a good tool for us because alumni see people through public relations. Companies will see the clubs through public relations. The companies and individuals who are intrigued, individuals who are interested in what they see. If we see that here we have a club, they do dancing, and I personally, as a person who's intrigued by dancing, and I'm out there, I'm an alumni of the University of Botswana in a couple of years, and I see students here performing their art, I'll be interested and I'll be willing to help when I see such. And also, it makes it easy when they're doing the mobilization that if I've already seen what you can do, if I've already seen the talent you possess, and then you come to me and I'm like, oh, I've seen this before, I've seen this individual doing some good moves on the dance floor, then I'll be very much willing to sponsor such individuals without second thought. So I think I've answered that sufficiently. Thank you.
Thank you. The first question is how will students be able to access minutes, right? So it's very simple. Very, very simple. Just like I have mentioned later on. If you make a clear decision and you are very transparent about it, you won't be afraid to do minutes. You won't be afraid to stop. You won't be afraid to publish what you have discussed throughout the meeting. The problem is with the person. And I'm a team player. I won't be doing this alone. As I'll be recording the minutes myself. After that, I'll make sure the minutes that are recorded, I will be giving them to the Ministry of Information and Publicity to publish them to the students through online platforms that are there. The second question is about funding. The SRC office, through the Treasurer General, will be having very viruses. The Treasurer General, through the funding process, through the office of the Treasurer General, who I believe has placed initiatives to fund the social clubs through fundraising programs in school. Giving a typical example, in our club, we hold competitions or we do viruses, small things. You know, when you decide for it, we're going to wear this. If you decide to wear something like maybe you wear a blue jean with a blazer, and then you don't adhere to that, you pay a fine of 50 pula. That's something. Or you kind of like this other thing we also do, late coming, which is also there in the movement when we are having our meetings. Late coming, you pay a fine. So through these initiatives or through these programs, we'll be able to find what we want to do in our social clubs. Thank you.
Moderator, can we please proceed? Thank you. Okay, proceeding to your question, Madam Moderator. I think there are two questions. The first one is practical resource mobilization. The other one being sure that the documentations and processes which are supposed to get to students get to students. You think something is easy because you have never been in a place where you see how it happens. Maybe I think I would like to highlight that. Like we are saying in the SPF manifesto that we need a holistic constitutional review of the SRC. The moment you look into our SRC constitution as it stands, it does not speak to the repercussions that happen once something's not done. It only speaks to you need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it fails to give us a situation whereby if I as Tiamo has failed to deliver on my constitutional mandate, what is supposed to be happening to that? That is why we believe the remedy to ensuring that people can actually adhere to their constitutional obligations is a holistic constitutional review process. That's how we are going to try and ensure that, one, there are remedies that can actually help people in the event that they don't do. Speaking to what Mr. Obonye highlighted, that, resource mobilization. If we had a vice president who was doing his actual job of the external officer and linking the student life with external stakeholders, then resource mobilization was then going to be easy. Because when you speak of publicity of the university as a student, you have the Department of Public Affairs to handle that. There's already a structure in place to ensure that it's done. The fundamental essence of going out, public relations does not bring in sponsors or partners externally. It is the individual that's supposed to go out there and bring the value proposition that we have as a university to those external stakeholders. I'll give a typical example. The corporate world is based on numbers. If I bring a good market to them, then yes, they'll come to the University of Botswana. For example, Legends Barbershop. The population in the University of Botswana was pleasing to a point whereby Legends Barbershop found it fit to bring the service of haircutting closer to what? To the university. That is something that has already happened because in absentia of the duties or in absentia of the Vice President, who is the external officer of the SRC, failed to deliver. I then took it upon myself as the outgoing Minister of Student Affairs to ensure that, let's try bring things closer to that. Realistically speaking, currently, as I was leaving office as the outgoing SRC Minister of Student Affairs, we have realized that there is an issue of theft in the University of Botswana, whereby even after the university premises, laptop using the very same approach of what? Statistical analysis, using the same approach of ensuring that the corporate world sees the value proposition, the ROI, as it were economics, in actually ensuring that. We now have a program whereby there's going to be laptop tracking in the University of Botswana that is actually supposed to go there and ensure that we are going to do that.
Time.
But I thank you, Madam Moderator. Yes.
I am going to ask one general question to all of you, and then I'm going to ask individual questions.
Yes.
So that's 2 questions.
Yes.
This is the first general question. Apart from being a student club representative, you also represent the other majority who are not a part of, right? Yes. How will you ensure that they have access to the same opportunities and resources that student clubs have and they don't have? And how do they have access to those? And how are you going to engage them? Because if they're not at clubs, what are they doing? And then I'm going to give you individual questions. I'm going to start with Badubi.
Yes.
Training for students is something that in the previous SRC was raised, and you are part of it.
Yes.
It failed. What is the guarantee that this time it won't fail? This one goes to Nete. In the event that different parties become a part of the SRC, how will you ensure that as a Secretary General, accountability and unity will be practiced? How will you manage people with different ideologies and mentalities? This one goes to Obonye. You speak so highly of public relations. In detail, give us, or rather describe how you will be a good PRO, and give logical examples. Thank you.
Thank you for the brilliant questions. I think let me touch on to the individual questions that you have asked me to the issue that speaks to the issue of training. Maybe as a point of corrections, mind you, when allocating funds, we then look into ministerial portfolios and what we can do. As the Minister of Student Affairs, we had a number of training sessions. The first one being the entrepreneurship training seminar that was hosted in collaboration with UNICEF, CEDA, and Absa Bank of Botswana, where successfully we have trained over 215 Botswana students. From that 250, I can confidently say that there was entrepreneurship challenge, whereby one Botswana student is now supplying journals to a corporate world. So it might have not been sufficient to cover the whole population of the Botswana, but I believe that's a starting point. And should I be given the opportunity to move on to the Office of Secretary General, then we are increasing. There's also trainings that's always ongoing for student volunteers. Volunteers are being trained on different aspects. Like he's very well trained in a lot of things because of the virtue of being a student volunteer within the University of Botswana. There's also training that's been given to other student leaders in the University of Botswana. The challenge that you don't have is that not all students have access to this. And this gives me that question that, once you give me a portfolio that enables me to then expand, it's easier to then apply the letter that we've already started, because there's a roadmap of where we are coming from and where we intend to go. So what so there's a guarantee because there's already a track record to where we want to go. Thank you. Then to answer the question of the training of students who are not part of clubs. Thank you so much for that very, very good question, because we normally sideline clubs and students beyond clubs. We normally sideline students who are capable in their own field. For example, last year, the Miss Botswana finalists, we had 2 Miss Botswana students who were actually finalists in the Miss Botswana pageantry. From those 2 students, one actually was given access to facilities within the University of Botswana so that she can actually host her program for their competition in Miss Botswana. Then that showed me that there's a gap between the policy that we have with right now and what we need to attain, ensuring that students have access to everything. It then goes back to the issue of the holistic constitutional review that we as the SPF government are proposing. Once we can recognize that there's that gap and constitutional amendment to ensure that policies that are in place for land can also even cater for it for individuals. I'm then pleased to announce that the outgoing Secretary General, Mr. Stephen Mahube, has tried. In the club, in the transport funding, and individual student leaders are now acknowledged. It shows that there's that level of where we are going to try and do that. So it's happening, but it is, like I'm saying, there's still more that we need to do, and that can only be done once Tiamo Prima Jumi is in the office of Secretary General. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me start with answering the individual question of how am I going to ensure accountability and be able to be an open-minded person to the ideologies. Just like I have mentioned later on.
And promote unity. Unity.
Unity. You just stated that. Thank you. All right. Promote unity. How am I going to ensure accountability? First things first. This one is a little bit not complicated because it's very simple. How am I going to ensure that I'm accountable for the portfolio that I'm campaigning for, being an SRC Secretary General? Okay, thank you so much. How am I going to ensure accountability in the
Accountability, unity, inclusion of ideologies and ideologies in the SRC.
Yes. How am I going to ensure accountability, unity in the SRC? Yes. Exactly. First things first, accountability. We will have a team. I'll create a team which will be able to come and SRC Secretary General. No, guys, you said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 manifesto. Where is it right now? Team through viruses, people. No, we can't be the ones we do certain things. But I'm going to make sure SRC is accountable. SRC council members are accountable for their actions. Because first I'll be cultivating a sense of responsibility in Mohobon. How am I going to cultivate a sense of responsibility in Mohobon? Through workshops, seminars, and internship programs, where they're going to be trained for, no guys, you need to be accountable for your action. If you decide to do something, you need to stand up for it. You need to be like, okay, fine, you said in your manifesto that I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So where is it now? I'm going to teach them that if you are a person, you need to be a person of your word. You can't just tell students, or no, I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you don't speak up to your word. It shows what kind of a person you are. How am I going to promote unity? How am I going to promote unity in the SRC Council Cabinet? Just simple. Respecting each other. Be a selfless person. If I want to be a leader, I need to be a servant first. I can't lead people if I can't be servant to them.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity once again. The first question was simply that how will others benefit? I'm not sure if I understand the purpose of the question, because last I checked, there's already a procedure for them to apply for similar benefits. So I think continuation of such a procedure, and then of course employing the things that I said to improve all these things to ensure that such individuals, for example, if you find an individual who's very much talented in singing, And then you are able to show the world that we have a talent here in UB, we have a rising star in UB, they'll be able to get extra benefit from what can already be provided as we speak. And then connecting that to the first one, I'll just connect the second one to the answer, because the second one was how are we going to do the public relations that I'm speaking of, Heidi. This public relations is pretty much simple. I think we all know how the world works, and in this room that I'm sitting, each and every individual has a phone at hand. That's how you reach the public by 20. We reach the public through our phones. We reach the public through social media. And I know there's going to be a question upcoming that social media pages that are brought up as official pages are usually involved in issues of political bias and all the like. Now that is when you will see, 5 years from now, you look back and said, he was not biased. You look back and said, the page is still standing today and there is no bias. That is a promise I make and a promise I'm willing to stand by. So my people, showing the works of these clubs, showing the works of individuals, and showing the general life of the UB student to the public will be of great help. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Okay, wait.
Okay.
I will. Okay, this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna take the questions to the audience, but I have one question from my colleague. Kindly please allow it. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Thank you. So before he starts, I think you remember the procedure. 2 questions from each party. It's first come, first serve basis. Right? That's fine. I'll hand over to Stepiso for now.
All right. Thank you. I have a few questions, but I don't know if I'm allowed to make more comments.
Yes.
But I'll make questions. I'll ask questions. Brian Badu, my question that is directed to you, say, is in the okay. It's say in your manifesto pointer, I would think charity kile ka tswa in lo gana commotion ya but ile ke ta ke retsa hape ha ke tswa go khona go distinguish SRC gate secretary general le Mr. of Entertainment ka go do ka ka bobedi. I didn't hear you speak much about student clubs, and the next question I'm going to address with regards to when I this is in relation to student clubs. I'm the president of the BPSS, so I'm speaking the best interest of all student clubs, right? Let me give a bit of context to the channel. In our discussions to the build-up of today, in terms of like being candidates. So I want to understand in terms of affiliation. Resa consider you. Or ke bone gore mo budget mo financial reporting le ka brilliant. 6,500 was spent on SRC travel allowances or something along those lines. So I had to go see I no go re ntshe madi student club gore le kgone go pagama ga ke tlo la bela kae me le pagama na go le teng. And to the lady Hagana Hali, might I speak to both of you? Former admin sec, and I get outgoing admin sec. It's very unfortunate she's not here to maybe speak to this, but I want to get your point on this one. Are we going to experience such things under your stewardship? You were in the SRC when such was happening. So it's a question, and 2 for you, say. Thank you.
In the interest of time, I'll give them a minute each to address each question, and then we'll come to the audience. Thank you.
I'm not sure if I got the last question properly, but let me address the first 2. The first one was a question of my ability to distinguish between the Secretary General and the Minister of Entertainment. I was giving singing as an example because basically what a student club is a collection of individuals who are interested in something, right? So you can have a club of people who are singing, we can have a club of people who dance, you can have a club of debaters, you can have a sporting club and very various clubs. So I could have just simply used a footballer instead of a singer. So that's very much simple. I don't think it's something that I would fail to distinguish. And then the other thing that was asked was the question of student club funding. Student club funding would be a very difficult topic to deal with, but there's always a solution when you step up to ask for such responsibility. So to ensure that there's mutual benefit for all clubs, like I was saying, speaking of public relations, now I won't go back and delve deep into public relations, but I'll speak of matters which are in my manifesto, which I didn't get the opportunity to get to because of time.
Please answer the question that you asked.
Yes, I'm in
not
the
time for
process
your
of
manifesto
answering.
pointers. Thank you.
Yes, allow me to finish, please. The clubs can get club catalogs. Something I was going to mention, club catalogs to show the students actually how the clubs are and how they work, because we are failing to get that from the Secretary General. And then the second thing is to have a club exhibition week. We'll use these
the
funds.
question that you were asked.
We'll use these funds which clubs contribute. I'm answering about the funds, so allow me to answer. I'm speaking to the students of Madikolo and they'll listen to me. I'll not be stepped down on Banaba Madikolo. Club exhibition week, where student clubs will be able to show what they do, and student clubs will get such publicity doing such.
Can you please answer your question? Please answer your question.
I feel discriminated by where I come from. They are discriminating me based on where I'm coming from, and I think that is not consistent.
We did mention in the regulations, like we
it's defamatory.
Are we sending
The question that I was asked was about that the Admin Secretary General raised a concern that she was subjected under the Secretary General during her reign. And then the question was, will I subject the Admin Secretary General also during my reign? And the answer is no. Because I'm a leader. And I need to be selfless in my leadership. I don't need to dictate to people how they should be leading their offices. I'm a team player. I need to work with my team for that. Thank you.
Okay, I think let me rush back to a few issues. What does the affiliation money go to, right? I think that's the most important question so far. So affiliation money has a lot of responsibilities and actually governing the SRC. For example, some of the facilities within the university, that's some of the affiliation. But UBPSS to say that, but there needs to be a level of consultation in actually how those funds are being dispersed. Because at the end of the day, they have to actually benefit the student in general. That goes as SG, but that do the student clubs really need a print? I think it's high time my DID club or I'd say regular club doing a basic, which is like another combo or something, you know, what I want to serve with the club when they are leaving. Moving on to the issue again of sidelining of portfolios, where the admin sec was saying that she's been sidelined. I think sometimes the important issue gets like, we don't understand our role in an organization. Every individual has a role to play. So it's something where I personally also have actually attended to that. And I see this gentleman also display the same characteristics which I saw in the previous councils of wanting to stand firm. So the question then becomes back to the issue of we need to understand our rules. We need to understand our rules. I think Once we understand that people have a role to play and where the extent to which they can go, the Constitution does not. The Constitution has its clearly defined rules, and if you are not going to step into someone's role, when now say then you might feel there's friction there because you're not focusing on your role. A simple thing. Listen to people talking, type down what they're saying down, send it to students. She has failed doing that. Then now she claims that she has been stumbled upon. I think it's a very simple issue that she needs to do that and bring it there. So let's understand our roles and let's do what we are supposed to do effectively. Then maybe as a point of correction, there are different clubs in the university, some of which don't affiliate to SRC. Some of those clubs affiliate to the Department of Sports and Arts and Culture. Music, football. So those are the clubs they don't affiliate to SRC. Thank you.
Hi. Thank you. He had 2 questions. So we are going to start. He raises his hand first. So Mike got point.
My question is directed to Badu. Badu, you say.
Sorry, please be brief and straight to the point. It applies to everyone. It applies to everyone.
You were once the former minister of student affairs, and then at the same time, during your tenure, you saw student business ANC, and you are constitutionally bound to protect the student, to relate all the student grievances to the authorities. But I want to say, so are you saying we should entitle you to with a greater responsibility, or a mandatory minimum to advocate for the student?
My question is directed to Nagoe Minister of Student Affairs, Reverend Agu. As the incoming Minister of Student Affairs, I had a question on the nuclear accreditation of courses. So I think you mentioned something about training programs earlier on. How do you plan on going about to convince the nuclear to accredit such a
My question goes to Adjubile Monaretu. It concerns the clubs specifically. The process of booking the venues for the child is usually long, right? So what are you going to do outside of the Secretary General? And another thing, you can restrict your venues. There will be instances where other clubs feel venues are given to favorite clubs, or the person responsible to giving clubs favorite club position, especially the new clubs. So the clubs that already can actually acquire spaces, office spaces. So yeah, I say no hard space.
na Botswana le lebaganya le maitsholo sa motho go tswa university Secretary General. Office ye long gore core mandates kana tiro yo le yetona yo ba address the student club yanong ha kutu ba sepe ka mathata ya student club ai kana funding kana di sokolo tsotlhe tse ba dirang tsa tseletsa yanong le Secretary General le ntse la go le dimetse ba ga go ke lu tso go sente wa re rona go mre ta address na go what leke motsa ka Setswana ka Sekgowa ka Setswana ne ke le ntse la go ke mo dikganyeng tse di amang di student club e ka nna go thaela ga di-office space e ka nna le gone go batla funding e thaelang kana university ga nang go inela baithuti ntse la go ditimetse ke o ya re ba Setswana.
Thank you.
My question is directed to the lady. My question is directed to the lady. Match portfolio you which portfolio no hore rasula kana hore ke ga ta motho o nang le tlhaloganya. So you go pa o bolelle sengwe ke portfolio e tsitsibanya mmele. Go go pa o bolelle sengwe wena or raba ithuto ba rore ke eng so ta bongota o se tshwere as a leader gore ba te ba go thope. What are your qualities? Let's say you are leadership being wena, what is that thing that is outstanding you from the rest of them?
Kindly please. Sorry. Kindly please withdraw your statement.
Listen, what I have the code of conduct says do not make derogatory statements. So if you don't understand, if you don't understand that English term, go do your research outside. Can you please withdraw? Can you please withdraw the statement? How can you please withdraw?
There is what we call political language.
Can you please withdraw, sir? Can you please withdraw? Go violation of the code of conduct. So we need to go like paying this color everything is under control.
No, sometimes so good time
Kindly please exit the room if you have anything to speak about.
So, so to no one put on me here go back to because when I have a book so you know it's I don't know about to be Babu do another about because put you Jabota will SG Gamandia. I never want to club the affiliate. Go to put on trade. And I already go because of today's jihad. How am I going to promote good SRC governance? Kana matata ki ko le constitution e ga the SRC. Ane ba go bona o kana constitutional review. Jaka yo lo le lambuta o kana yo. Waka.
Bota kwa ra ba ka sa ke le la le jibe lo. Aro tswele le.
I want to need the oil.
Lo ana ka sa tado ta bo se o mo. Ba
bile se ha ke find e ba di.
Koparetsa ne potso e ne e boditswe ke re o dileng ya go arabile.
Yes, we had asked him to withdraw the statement, not the question. He said two things, a statement and a question. Was that fine? Thank you.
Yes, it's fine.
Kindly please start. You have a minute, 2 minutes, 6 minutes. Again, thank you.
Okay, my question was to deal with club space shortage, right? To remedy that, because we have so many clubs in the school, it should operate on a first-come, first-served basis. And then secondly, if a venue is booked at a certain time, then you can always book a later time or an earlier time, and then that remedy applies. So I think it's a pretty short one to answer. Thank you.
Okay, the first question that I will answer is what qualities that make me unique? I'm calm, I'm reserved, I'm collected, I'm disciplined, I'm unique, I'm different. And mind you, I have a same mind because the course that I'm doing, I don't think if I didn't have a mind, I would do it. Radiation and 12 physics. It needs someone who's very, very, very intelligent, brilliant. Yes, thank you for that. It doesn't have a market because I'm going to create my own employment job. I'm going to create my own job. To answer the second question, student clubs, I did mention them. The problem is, if you can't hear, what should I do? I have a voice, and I have said that these clubs, they are going to empower, they are going to elevate, we are going to bring an arising and shining. This SRC is not going to shine alone, but it's going to shine with these clubs. You said my voice is not heard.
I think the question, I think the question was saying, what is your voice as incoming Secretary General? Who are you? What is the role that you're going to play as Secretary General? I think that's what the question was. In clubs, because, oh yes, the role that you're going to play in clubs, because apparently you haven't spoken much to that. The role as SG in clubs. Yes. Fine. Thank you. I'll give you a minute. And club funding.
Okay. So what's my voice or what's my role in clubs that are in school? Yes. I will do collaborations with the clubs. I will also be, these clubs are going to empower students. These clubs are going to educate students. These clubs are going to make sure what as an SRC Secretary General. What's my role in them? That is to bring light to the students. That's my role. Radiation and 12 physics. What is its purpose? I get it. And I also mentioned issue of sometimes dependency is not key. You need to be independent as a student. Sometimes, to begin with,
we are disadvantaging students to get access and actually analyze what their student leaders are doing. It shows that as leaders, we are failing. For us to come here and being told to do simple things, follow procedures, follow the guidelines governing debates. It is disappointing for leaders to do that from the UBCD and Monwaba.
Can you please answer?
I have 6 minutes, so I'll answer those. Thank you. Yes. To start with the first question that was asked to me, you say the business has stopped in the University of Botswana, and what we are supposed to do with authorities it was my ministry. Yes, indeed, it was my ministry. Unfortunately, I don't have the proper dates here, but we did meet with the director of campus services. And there were two major points that were said that actually led to the stoppage of, selling of particularly sweets and other business around university premises. The first issue was the health and safety concern. As ba go ba rona mo University of Botswana, re tla ba re rekisa pele ga 247 ga pele ga 252. From there on, ha re hetsa ha re se emataka. Therefore, the nature of the environment when you kindness in, mind you, that's an environment whereby batho ba balla go ba heta go go. So go tlola di chapisi ba tla go chota ba nna go go. It might not be an issue of the particular entrepreneurs, but even the customers themselves. So in the community, sabobeti. We needed a situation whereby we could control, or the university was supposed to control the market in terms of there needs to be a guideline in terms of how intervention is going to be done with this over time. You can attest to me, a lot of people when I subscriptions I did your honor. By one of the the first week when they see me, then after that, what I did see and I do it. So the university needed to protect the consumer, being the invisible students. So as a remedy, the university used to have small porter cabins. They were specifically for students. Because at the time when that was stopped, SRC, the university then said, SRC, we are giving up to you now to then find ways of financing those porter cabins. So, the reason why we don't have students selling in university because there is no environment whereby they can sell. If we had an external officer the porter cabin with other stakeholders, entrepreneurship at the university could have been back and functioning. Now they don't have enough finances to build those porter cabins for what? For the students. So we are still waiting for a partner to sign SRC. For those porter cabins, also as a remedy to that, there are proposals. It's very hard for us to find venues. There is a proposal in place to say the venues which are clearly allocated to the SRC must be on paper. We as an SRC need to know that, are we allocated block 240? Are we allocated block 228? Are we allocated business block? Are we allocated rooms within the student center? Then those particular blocks become the sole responsibility of the SRC to ensure that clubs they are functioning. Once that's able to be given to that, those particular places, it's hard for you to find venues. So it's easier for us to know that we have 18 rooms. 18 rooms have been booked so far. For Tuesday, then moving on to the issue of how do you convince BQA to accredit courses. As a scholar, it's very disappointing and to be coming from you as an aspiring leader of students in the University of Botswana. BQA, ladies and gentlemen, as a process, I have 3 certification courses which I'm a facilitator for that have been accredited by BQA. You submit the required documents, how has a BQA assets, a vessel, and so on and so on. So it's a process that has already been placed by the BQA and will just follow this as SRC to show that what those programs are accredited. Then the question enables SRC good governance. It's painful because the university and students' funds were used to actually amend the constitution. And individuals within the SRC had no constitutional review because in we have started that process already. We have voted for, some of us, I'll speak for myself, I'll speak for Mr. Montlanti myself, we have voted for that constitutional amendment. Individuals like Bomudi Remote were against constitutional amendment because it did not favor them in certain areas. So it then becomes hard for that thing to change. So therefore we are improving good governance by amending the SRC constitution. Affiliation fee. To all clubs, I'm going to say this publicly, this semester you will not be affiliating. You will not be affiliating Gamande when I'm assuming office, and all the affiliation that we have for now will be continuing. And there is a section like about your affiliations, you will not be assisted, or new clubs will not be assisted. Come back to the office of the SG Gamande, there are men that can you call application Se sengwe gape ke re ke supe gape gore mokaone mo kile a supa gore first come first serve something se le gore go se neela gore address kgang ya shortage of getting venues. Ba gaetsho first come and first serve does not work. We need to have systems and mechanisms in place through consultation. Ka go le bisa ba UBPSS, ka go bisa ba debate masters, ka go bisa ba UBWorks and say, guys, we have 30 venues. How many of you need venues? But
Okay, we are now wrapping up. I'd like to ask the candidates to give me a minute of closing remarks. Rather, I'm giving you a minute of closing remarks. Brief, straight to the point. Thank you.
Bana ba tuma dikole ke tswalla ke re tshepa rona re tshepa thinyane o tshepele nna re ka dira go go botoka thata le gona #trust the process #elevate and empower #let's arise and shine together ka re ka tswe
in closing, I'd like to mention that vote wisely on Friday. Vote for Mwanawaituti or 13 positions. Vote for a government that will be yours, a government that will stand for your interest, a government that will serve your interest well, and not manipulate you to believing anything, and not take away anything from you under false claims. Thank you.
In conclusion, so I'm saying, when I went to the ballots, let us look at the facts among us. Let us look at the problem that we have as a university. Let us look at the challenge we are facing, and let us look at the track record of the leaders that we have. Friday, the 25th of October, let us vote for Timo Madubi for the Secretary General. Let us vote the Student Patriotic Front, as it is the only credible student movement in the university. I am Timo Madubi, your incoming Secretary General. Thank you.
Gentlemen, with that, we've come to the end of our debates. Join us tomorrow for our presidential debates. Thank you.